This week's champion trends feature Caitlyn, Zed, Karma, Urgot, Corki, and Jax. I'm Lindsay Geektron of Cloth 5, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. First off, I'd like to talk about the increase in pick rate for this week. Pantheon had the highest with plus 0.57%, Caitlyn then with 0.52%, Nasus following with 0.49%, Garen with 0.48%, and finally, Miss Fortune with 0.47%. Let's discuss Caitlyn's increase in pick rate. As the Season 3 World Championships displayed, the champions who utilized the buffed Trinity Force like Ezreal and Corki were top-tier picks due to their synergy with the item. However, now that Trinity Force has been nerfed, it's been a callback to the dual lane's queen as Caitlyn resumes her spot. Aside from being the marksman with the longest base range at 650, Caitlyn is incredibly potent at pushing down turrets and is generally considered to be one of the safest marksmen in the current meta. Next, the champions who had the largest decrease in pick rates this week were Lee Sin with a negative 1.81% change, Jinx with a negative 1.49%, Zed with a negative 1.14%, Jax with a negative 0.67%, and Riven with a negative 0.65%. After being nearly a 100 pick or ban in competitive play, Zed has finally been announced as one of the next champions to receive the Nerf Hammer. In short, there will be an increased burden on Zed players to utilize their living shadows to their utmost potential, and pressing R will not mean insta-kills most of the time. These announced nerfs aren't live on the current patch, but players are anticipating a drop in his power levels and thus might be looking for alternative assassins to help snowball their lane. This week, champions who had the largest decrease in win rates were Karma with a negative 2.67 change, Poppy with a negative 2.32%, Fiora with a negative 2.24%, Ziggs with negative 1.88%, and Gangplank with a negative 1.64%. Aside from her last documented change in June with patch 3.8, Karma hasn't seen champion changes or any indirect buffs via itemization. However, after a small stint in the European LCS, she's made a resurgence in play, especially in the North American Challenger circuit. Complexity's mid laner Prolly picked her twice in the second week of the North American Challenger League and exceeded both times with her. Spectators might have attempted to pick her following these games and may not have been quite comfortable since she has an abysmal pick rate of 2.81%. However, as she's picked more often in competitive play and viewers begin to understand how to play and itemize Karma, we'll be sure to see an increase in her win rate. Following are the champions with the largest increase in win rates, and they are Urgot with 3.81%, Skarner with 3.02%, Zillion with 2.65%, and Galio with 2.2%. Although not the most popular champion with a 0.38% pick rate, Urgot's increase in win rate can be attributed to his champion design. Although he acts as one of the game's strongest lane bullies in early game, he eventually builds tankier, and that poses a problem for the assassin meta at the moment. With an ultimate that provides armor and magic resist along with displacement, Urgot can duke it out against glass cannon assassins since his passive also reduces all incoming damage from his target. However, don't expect any increase in pick rates, since the popularity of assassins will most likely come to a close with immediate nerfs coming to them in the future. For the top decreases in ban rate this week, we had Corki with negative 6.55%, Thresh with negative 4.32%, Vayne with a negative 4.24%, Shen with a negative 3.01%, and Blitzcrank with a negative 1.41%. The decrease in ban rate for Corki directly correlates with the nerf to Trinity Force, since its price was increased by 300 gold and the Phage movement speed passive was halved for all ranged champions. With these changes, Corki's mid-game spike in power level is slightly reduced, so there's less of an incentive for players to leave lane to pursue map objectives as opposed to farming 300 gold for that item recipe buy. Also, the Phage passive change allows for less kiting from bruisers and tanks, so Trinity Force marksmen will have to be more mindful of their positioning during engagements, so they aren't forced out of position. Additionally, more nerfs are slated to come to Corki, specifically the decrease in his missile barrage damage, coupled along with the cooldown, and players are realizing that Corki's power level is on the way out. For the top increase in ban rates, new champion Jinx led the charge with a 19.71% change, followed by Aatrox with a 2.19%, Kassadin with a 1.21%, Gragas with a 0.75%, and Jax with a 0.72%. The increase in ban rate is unexpected as summoners are loving the loose cannon, and her current ban rate now sits at 50.21%, 5th overall for the champions. Aside from having a mobility dash, Jinx has an insane amount of utility in her kit that doesn't skimp on damage, with her Fishbone's auto attack offering plus 10% AD and an even longer range than Caitlyn's auto attacks. Her laning phase is more than forgiving since her Zap offers reliable poke on short cooldowns, and her team fighting is even better since Fishbones offers her excellent range and Flame Chompers can snare oncoming attackers for excellent kiting. Her primary weakness fails to poor positioning, and she's not innately tanky, but with Ahri and other assassins being nerfed soon, we can expect a rise in Jinx dominance. And that's it for this week's League Trends. Be sure to subscribe to LolKing on YouTube and like and share this video. I'm LindsayGeektron, and thank you so much for watching.